this is Amber Pollock. This lesson is on how inflation works. Many people think that inflation works by hitting all products evenly at the same time, such that they all go up in price at the same rate. This is not typically how inflation works. Inflation typically works by entering the economy at discrete points. I have here apples, lemons, and peppers. What may happen is a politician decides that apples are a very valuable and precious fruit and more people need to eat apples. So some measures are passed to get cheaper money into the hands of apple consumers. Banks are flushed with fiat money, and now lots of money is chasing apples. What will happen is the price of apples will go through the roof. It will not be the typical 2% inflation, but something much higher than this. Those who buy apples will then probably have a hefty apple loan that they will have to pay off. There are likely many people that will be in this position, and they will ask their employers for a raise. The employer, needing workers, will oblige to give the higher wage. That money for the increased wages, however, has to come from somewhere. So the employer will then raise the price of his or her product. It will trickle on like this to more and more products. This is how inflation spreads. This is the irony and self-defeating nature of funneling money to a particular product, in this case apples. The goal was to make apples more accessible to people, but by funneling all of this money towards apples, it makes apples very expensive and much harder to access. In the lesson earlier on counterfeiting, we talked about how those who get counterfeit money have an unfair advantage over those who have earned wealth. Inflation works very similarly. However, people don't outright get handed money, such as the way that the counterfeiter created money out of thin air. Instead, they get cheaper money. Money is lent at a lower interest rate than otherwise would be. People who shouldn't get loans do get loans. These people who get cheaper loans are at an unfair advantage and do benefit from the fiat money. However, those who benefit the most are the ones selling the product, in this case the apple farmers. They don't have to pay the money back. It goes straight into their pockets as pure profit. And they are the ones who have gotten to the inflated money first. They have pure profit and can spend that money before the price of other products has increased. In this example, I use apples, but in real life, examples of this are housing and student loans. Politicians decided more people need to have a house or college education and put measures in place to get money to people to have easier access to these products. In both cases, what we saw is a rapid rise in prices. With housing in the early 2000s, some houses doubled in price. With student loans, we see double-digit percentage increase in tuition year after year. As people suffer the higher loans from these things, they will need higher wages at their jobs. Inflation will slowly spread to the rest of the country. I'll explain in a later lesson why the housing market crashed after all of this fiat money was funneled into it. So this wraps up the lesson on inflation. Inflation enters the economy at discrete points, causing a rapid rise in price for a specific commodity, and then spreads slowly to the rest of the economy.